Hello, friends. Welcome back to our Dream Big Nation podcast. I have been having so much fun with our guests this week. As you know, I absolutely have an amazing blessing to be fascinated with people and their stories, and we are hearing so many inspiring journeys from people that have exited corporate themselves. They've made that brave leap to hire themselves, and they are encouraging others to do that. I'm very, very excited to introduce my new friend, Miss Zondra Evans. I met Zondra through Miss Sharon Lecter, who a lot of you know and follow as well, and I can't wait for you to get to know Zondra's story and how she's touching the lives of families out there. So, Zondra, welcome to our show.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Absolutely. I want to just brag about you a little bit because you absolutely hired yourself in a really big way. Zondra is the founder and executive producer of Zondra TV Network, and I can't wait to hear about that because I think that's such a wonderful way to bring stories to life for people. So let's start by just give us your quick 411. I know that's not quick, but give us just a thumbnail sketch of kind of where you were, your journey to what prompted this big brave leap that you made not too long ago, actually.
Yeah, not too long ago. So thank you again for having me. I'm gonna try to give the very short version of the story. I am a corporate vet, and I worked in corporate America for 40 years. Yeah, I said 40. And I always like to say that people hired me when I was 9. So, just to keep it at the 49 level. 40 years in corporate America in very senior roles. And I'm extremely loyal because I only worked for 2 companies over the period of 40 years. And then one day I got the Golden Handshake. And
that's a new way to put it. I love that.
Right? Nobody wants to believe that they just got laid off. I got the Golden Handshake, and I shook their hand back very firmly and said, thank you for the opportunity, because I saw it as an opportunity to be able to walk and to step into my divine greatness.
Oh, I love that. I love it. Now, you and we clearly have a very strong faith, both of us. And I think what you just said is so beautiful, because for those believers out there, whatever you believe in, I hope your belief is that there's a good plan for your life. But talk to us about how you decided to step into that divine greatness, and did you already have the idea for your company? I'm curious about that.
I didn't have an idea for this company because this is God's company. So when I can tell you this, and I'm very thankful and extremely grateful that maybe about 7 years before I got the Golden Handshake, it was impressed upon me that I needed to develop an exit strategy. And the more I thought about it and the more I worked on it, I realized that the best time to write an exit strategy is when times are good, not when times are bad, because oftentimes we're in catabolic energy in bad times and we have less choices available to us. So I developed an exit strategy and began working on that strategy while I was still making 6 figures in a corporate job. So when I got the Golden Handshake, I just took it off the shelf and blew the dust off of it and started implementing. But it was not to implement TV, I could tell you that. I'm an author, a speaker, and a certified coach. And so that is what my exit strategy was about, is how could I coach, mentor, and help other entrepreneurs or either, corporate entities to be able to understand how to really earn a seat at the boardroom table. So that's what I left to do. And then it came into this whole TV thing.
Right. Okay. So now, had you actually started that other business as more of a side gig while you were still in corporate then?
You better know it. Everybody need a side hustle.
Absolutely.
I started the business before I left corporate, and I would coach my clients anytime after 6 p.m. and I would coach all day on Saturdays because that was my day. And so I gained my skills and I gained a client base in coaching well before I left corporate. And so it was easy for me to make that transition when I got the Golden Handshake.
I love it. And one thing that I've observed is it seems like there's a lot of people that they don't make that leap because they don't know how to translate their experience they got in corporate to actually monetizing on the outside.
Yeah.
What could you say, sort of just tactically that could help someone thinking about that transition right now?
Yeah, absolutely. I wish someone would have told me, and no one told me that while we get a really good skill set in corporate, we're not really taught how to take that experience and actually transfer it into being in the outside world on your own and being able to create revenue. And so there are a couple of things that I would tell you. The first thing is, you really need to create a digital landscape for yourself because you are actually the asset and the true commodity. So at the end of the day, your digital landscape, Zondra Evans, who I am, I believe that everybody needs to have their own digital landscape. Yeah, you work for a company, but you need your own because you are the true asset. That's number one. And number two is, get involved in the community while you're in corporate. And when I say get involved, I don't just mean go to events. I mean, literally get involved and start to work within those communities so that you're known as the individual that you are and what you bring to the table to serve the universe. Nobody told me that. So I had to do that once I got the Golden Handshake. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I have this whole leadership skill base, but it's not really applicable until you really understand the community and that you start to really understand some of the challenges that people in the community have.
Tell me, I'm curious. So I would love for you to act like I'm a second grader and explain your Zondra TV network for others and how, where that idea came and how are you bringing it to life?
Oh, it's a long story. I'm a motivational and inspirational speaker. That's what I'm known for. I've spoken all across the world. I've been in Alaska speaking. I've been everywhere. And so I really thought that's what I was going to be doing. And I hired a PR agent and manager that was my coach. And she started booking me on TV and radio. And literally, they loved me. They loved me so much, they kept asking me to come back. And I was like, oh, this is so much fun. You're kind of young, dumb, and stupid, or seasoned, dumb, and stupid. Like, okay, this is fun. But what I didn't realize is that it was really preparing me for this journey in media. So to make it, take it to the second grade level on this, I developed a streaming TV network. And I am on 7 different streaming platforms. And I created this for small business. And you might say why? Because we are always left behind. And I have been committed to leveling the playing field for a small business so that you could have affordable marketing and advertisement on a global channel, which is Zondra TV Network. So everything we've done it so that you can access it in the hundreds of dollars. We know that you can afford that. And so everything we do is affordable, and it's really about quality and quantity. So we interview a lot of people. We create custom commercials and put you on TV where you really deserve to belong.
I love it. Oh my gosh. So it's almost like they say the podcast is kind of the Trojan horse of marketing. This is almost like Trojan horse on steroids, because I feel like it's very it's taking it up another level, because when you actually get to see someone speak, it's just a different experience, isn't it?
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah. So give us an example of if there's a small business, which there are a lot of small business owners listening to this, kind of paint a picture for us of what that would look like for them.
So here's what it would look like. There's two ways that you can enter into streaming differentially. And it is, the first one is just getting an interview on TV. And we're not a podcast, we're not a YouTuber, we're on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, Chromecast. That's the kind of exposure you're going to get with us. But you interview with us and we bring out the best side of you and your business. And then after interviewing, we actually create a social media campaign for you and give you all of what you need to say in the free text box. We give you a flyer. We give you what we call a sizzle reel, which is just a 30-second reel of the best of you. Then we coach you on what to do with the reel. You actually
I love it.
Put it into your speaker's profile. You could put it into your portfolio. And then we do an online digital advertisement for 2 weeks that you were featured on TV in the zip code of your choice. So everything we do is to give you exposure to the audience that you want to have exposure with. So and all of that, $279.
I am so like, can we just stop and start my commercial right now? I love this so much. You know what I love, Zondra? What you've done is there's, we have a mutual friend, Michelle Faust, who's with Lemonade Legend. That's what we're both working with her too. So many, I mean, every one of us has this beautiful story that can impact lives. And when you've given people the opportunity to step in their story in a different way. Let me ask you, I want to pivot a little bit to our children's generation, because we talked about this a little bit. I think a lot of our kids are finding this, you know, they're graduating or maybe they're in their first job, and that corporate horizon is just not speaking to their soul. Yeah. So many of them, they don't stick around like we did for 20 years. Yeah. You know, they'll probably have 20 jobs in 20 years, potentially. What would you say to those children right now of ours? I mean, they're adults, but they're always our kids, right?
Well, what I would say is, if you have a stellar idea and you believe in what the idea is about and how it's going to really serve the world, I encourage you and employ you to work on that idea and bring it to market. Oftentimes we're so crippled, by, oh, how will I make money? What will I do? Learn who you are and why you're here. And if you've got a great idea, bring it to market. And then the second thing is learn the power of association and collaboration, because that really is what's going to help you win the game. I'd rather get a quarter piece of the pie than get no pie at all. And so that concept is really critical for, our young adults that are coming up behind us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That maybe came to life perhaps in different iterations during your journey. Tell us about that.
You froze. Can you say that again?
Oh, sorry. Okay. Flip. Here we go. See, again, Satan is trying to take over, sister, because it was about your faith. We talked about earlier how much your faith is a big part of your life. And I'm curious a little bit about your faith journey. Did you use that in corporate? Was it something that's just always been strong in your life, or did it kind of have different iterations?
That's such a great question. Faith has always been a part of my life. So that's the first thing. But, I think being in corporate, they put a few, handcuffs on you. You can't pray before a meeting. You can't do this, or you can't have this up in your office. You know, for that corporate money, you got to go with the corporate guidelines. I mean, eventually they allow people to have, you know, prayer and Bible study in corporate. But I can tell you, I've been on many faith walks, but this faith walk is uniquely different. And it's uniquely different because it's not actually what I thought I would be doing.
Right.
In fact, it's not even what I knew about. You know, God was my trainer. God was the visionary behind this. I was just the instrument. And so taking a blind faith walk for real, this has been the most surreal faith walk that I think I've ever taken. And I've taken plenty of them, but this has been really big.
I love it. And you know, you said something just now that struck me. I can't recall who I heard this from, but they were talking about when you actually give into that true purpose,
Yes.
it really is not about you. It's about the people that you can serve as a result of stepping into that.
Yes.
So maybe give us an example of someone that you've served in this new world, and maybe their success story. Let's give them a little, you know, kudos or something. I just love hearing about those stories, you know.
I have served so many. So, you know, I think the biggest, you know, servant leadership, 19. I really had no plans in 2019 to build a TV network, but God spoke to me. He said, build it now in August of 2019. And then he spoke something else into my spirit. And it was, you need to build an incubator because everything I've taught you, you need to teach other people.
Mm.
And I was like, really? So, you know, I'm always like, really, God? And so I did. I built an incubator, and little did I know that we would be stricken with a pandemic in 2020. But in 2020, 19, I built the incubator. In 2020, when the pandemic hit, I just said, Lord, I want 5 producers that I could train in this incubator to learn how to be a producer of their own content and bring it to market and teach them everything that you've taught me about streaming TV. God didn't bring me 5, he brought me 12.
Oh my goodness.
During the pandemic. And those 12 have been in the incubator for 7 months now.
How exciting. So you're really creating distribution channels for Zondra TV Network.
Absolutely.
Miss Sharon talks to us about how sexy assets are, and how the older you get, the sexier they become, which I think even how many children you can create as a result of your incubator, even more sexy.
Even more sexy. I did a commercial and I said, sex assets really are sexy, because they really are. I mean, so, you know, here I have now 12 producers on the network that are, you know, speaking their truth, you know, through TV. I mean, I sometimes I have to pinch myself and go like, did that really happen? But the incubator is serving to train others to be the very best that they could be as a producer. And then we're creating right now the executive producer arm so that they could go off and have their own network and their own channel that is powered by Zondra TV Network.
Oh my goodness. I am so excited. This sounds fabulous. You know what it strikes me is that I think one thing I've observed when working with new entrepreneurs is there's so much noise out there, and you know, they don't even know what they don't know to begin with, and then maybe they start by getting on Facebook, or you know, doing like Facebook lives, and oh my gosh, how in the heck do I differentiate myself in these 42 bazillion people that are kind of messaging the same way? So how would you say, maybe what's a differentiator when you are on the platform like you've created? give us some data points around maybe the difference and why people might want to consider this as an avenue.
Yeah, there's a couple of reasons. We purposely developed Zondra TV Network to be a non-exclusivity. And what that really means is that your content will always be your content. And, we can't say that about social platforms.
Sure.
They will take your content down and you won't be able to get your content. And so you always own your content here. But here's the thing. Anybody can say their own social platform. Anybody can get a YouTube channel, but everybody can't be on TV. And so that, to me, it's the level. If you want to level up and be able to say, I am a producer on TV, and that people can literally sit in their living room and download the channel and be able to see you on TV and learn from you and really get to know you. That's a differentiator. It doesn't mean you don't need social platforms. You still do need that. But there's a difference when you're saying, I'm featured, I am on TV.
Yeah,
it's just a different feeling. And TV today is streaming, you guys. It's not new, but it's now. And getting in now is like almost getting in, in the early stages of linear TV. They're affordable then, but eventually you can see linear TV is coming over to streaming because why? That's how people are ingesting information now.
Oh, absolutely. Have you, I've just started researching LinkedIn Live. Have you looked into that? Have you done any marketing on LinkedIn Live?
I haven't done LinkedIn Live yet.
Okay.
It's kind of interesting. So I have to say this, doing webinars or doing lives, it kind of doesn't make a lot of sense for someone that has TV distribution in the tune of 250 million potential viewers. So it's good for those that are maybe not on TV, but for me, it's much more sexy that I'm on TV and that you can access me through TV versus just one platform.
Yeah, I was thinking of it more to gain exposure to what you're doing.
It is good exposure.
I'm curious what's your, I guess, marketing model? How do you get to market the message that you've created?
That's good. A couple of ways. So whenever an entrepreneur actually comes and, has an interview with us, we do cross-promotional marketing. So I get to be in front of their audience and they get to be in front of my audience. Well, I have a fairly decent following. So that's a good thing for the entrepreneur, but it's a great thing for me too, because your people are going to see that you're on TV and maybe they'll want to be on TV too. So that's a really grassroots kind of very organic way. The other thing is there is power in OPP and OPA, other people's platform and other people's audiences. You always want to do that. So I literally probably do anywhere from 2 to 3 interviews on other people's platform every single week. And they get to hear about Zondra TV Network.
I love it.
Organic and real way, because people can see my eyes and they can see my spirit and my soul and understand that I'm out here to do a good work for the universe and for solopreneurs and entrepreneurs.
I love it. Yeah, absolutely. The way that we met was through one of those audiences with Sharon Lecter. I know you have some things coming up in your world that you wanted to share today. You want to give us a little 411 on those things?
Well, one of the things that I wanted to share, but I got to talk about it.
Yeah.
This last weekend, we had the Navigate Her Women's Leadership Conference. And we had some big time speakers. We had Susie Carter. We had Cynthia Marshall, who's the CEO of the Dallas Mavericks. And we
How fun!
It was crazy. It was off the chain. Angel Tussey, the PR magnet of the world. All of those folks were on stage speaking to our audience. It was amazing. And so guess what? We're getting ready to get started planning the next one for 2021. But that was amazing. But the thing that I'm working on right now that just fills my cup is the little small voice is telling me, which doesn't make sense. It probably doesn't make sense to people. Now is the time, Zondra, that I want you to go forth and secure sponsors for the network. So we have been putting together a sponsorship package, and we're getting ready to get that out in front of about 150 to 200 people to sponsor small business entrepreneurs. So if everything goes really well, I'll be hosting a raffle to give away full marketing and advertisement exposure to small businesses on TV.
Oh my goodness, I love it. So
So
it'll
I'm
be
excited.
scholarships for, because I know there's so many families out there, these small business owners they have such great products and services, but they just don't have the funds to get their message out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Tell me, I love to ask this question. You have children, you probably will have grandchildren one day. So picture yourself like 20 years from now. You're sitting on your porch in Dallas, you're just loving life, and your grandbabies come up and they ask you, Grandma, I just learned about COVID in school. I heard people went crazy. What did you do? What would you tell them, Zondra? What are you going to be able to say about this time in your life?
And I'm gonna really be honest. So I already have grandchildren, and they're
Oh,
already
you do?
asking
Oh my
me.
gosh, you look freaking fabulous, woman. How do you do that?
Grandchildren, to be
What's
exact.
your skincare regime? I want
You
to
know
know.
what it is? You look, Jesus. He kept me. I don't know. I change my facial products every 90 days, and I really have done that all my life. And I think that's why I maybe.
Oh, I love it. So you mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, because your face, it doesn't react to something if you use it forever.
That is such a good concept.
Isn't that a good concept?
Do you rotate it? Like, do you have a certain set group of?
I
maybe
do.
One day you'll do this group.
90 days. 90 days one, 90 days another. So each quarter I change. And your skin just tightens and reacts to the product. Like,
oh my gosh, we need to chat. We need to have a separate chat about this.
I'm not in the beauty industry. I'm in the TV and media industry, but that is a really good thing. But I have got 5 grandchildren right now, and it's a struggle. It's a struggle, and having them to understand that. But here's the model by which I live by, and this is what I really teach my family. No matter what life circumstances are served to you, they don't define you, nor do they, create the essence of who you are. They only create depth in your character as to how you respond, because how you respond is how you recover. And so if they were to ask me 20 years from now, I would encourage them. You can still excel. You can still propel, even in an environment of something we've never experienced before. It's how you respond. And how I responded is that I won't let it stop me from helping entrepreneurs to excel in their business and to help them stay in business. So I went after it when COVID happened, and I would tell my grandkids the same thing. Even now they're homeschooling and they're on Zoom. They're learning how to run a great meeting. And so you know what? We have family meetings on Zoom, and we all know how to posture on Zoom, even my grandchildren, because that's the future. And so I just encourage them.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I'm sure your grandkids are already budding entrepreneurs themselves. I would imagine having a grandma like you. Oh my gosh. How many do you have?
5.
Oh my gosh. How fun. What ages are they?
Oh, let's see. It goes from 8 to 6 to 5 to 4.
Yeah. And are is your son and daughter have kids? Both of them?
Both of them. My son has 3, my daughter has 2. And so that's why I was trying to put them all in order. It ranges from 8 to 2. And so
I love it.
It's just amazing.
Well, and it's fabulous. You remind me, you're much, much younger. I lost my mom last year, and she was that Grammy that could still get on the ground and sit Indian style, and her friends would be like, how do you get up again? You know, and you clearly just you have such a passion for life, and you are, most importantly, you're helping others find that, which I think is just the biggest gift. I want to just give our listeners a call to action for you, you know, and really inspire them to think about this time. You know, we're in the final quarter of 2020. There is nothing more powerful than a made up mind. You know, if people hear your story today and they decide, okay, enough, I am going to transform and I'm going to work with Zondra to help me do it. Let's just walk them through what they need to do tactically to be totally in a different place come 2021.
Well, you know what? I'm such a giver. I give away complimentary 30-minute discovery calls. And so all you have to do is to go to Be on ZTV, BEONZTV.com, and schedule a discovery call. And really, I tell people, if you don't want to talk about TV, we can talk about your life. I'm a certified coach. Whatever you want that discovery call to be about, let me help you, you know, kind of get the clutter out of your mind and really figure out how to live the life that you deserve. We deserve so much more than what we actually live. And so I'm passionate about that as a coach. So whatever works for you, schedule that discovery call today, beonztv.com.
I love it. I'm going to schedule my time. In fact, we're going to do that before we get off this phone.
Love it.
Zondra, let's talk a little bit about our Assets Are Sexy coming up on November 6th. Tell our audience what you're going to be maybe sharing a little bit more about, and maybe the power of this association that it's blessed your life with too.
Well, I think I'm going to be talking about a combination of things. It'll be kind of wrapped together, but I really want to talk about your Blue Rose moment. And so I've been speaking about that on various different stages. And so I really want people to understand that you're presented with a Blue Rose moment probably 1 or 2 times in your whole lifetime. And oftentimes what we do is that because it's not what is considered to be the norm in roses, because it's not considered to be, you know, red, yellow, or white, because that's what we're conditioned to see. Oftentimes we just kind of go like, I'm gonna put it to the side. It's pretty, but it's not customary. I want people to step into their uncustomary, untraditional possibilities and really access their Blue Rose moment. And then I'm gonna add a little bit about streaming technology and why it's important now. The time is now. It's not later. And it's not because I'm in streaming. It's because you gotta see how people are looking at TV. Come on now. You gotta get with the program.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I think, you know, let's face it, this is not the last crisis we will face. That is one thing for certain. There's nothing more sure about life than uncertainty. What's going to happen next? So why not take advantage and hire yourself? For those, you know, for our listeners, I just am so blessed that you spend your time with us every week. And Zondra, I've so enjoyed this conversation, and I can already tell we're going to be friends and we're going to do some fun things together in life. I'm excited for it, and I give all the glory to God for putting us together. So my friends out there, thank you as always for joining us on our Dream Big Nation podcast. We're bringing these stories really because they are helping me on my own journey, and I hope that they are going to help you in yours. Make that brave leap to hire yourself if you haven't already. And as always, you can catch up at dreambignationpodcast.com or go to our platform at Lisa Williams Co. and find out more about the opportunities that we provide. So bless you all in this amazing life journey, and I will see you soon.
Thank you, Lisa.
Okay.